Welcome, my ladies of inestimable value. Not all storms come to disrupt your life, some come to clear your path. Sigma females embody this perfectly. They're the kind of women who don't walk into a room demanding attention. They walk in, and the room rearranges itself around their presence. Quietly captivating and utterly self-assured, these women are an enigma that men can't help but be drawn to. Here's a fact. Studies show that men are subconsciously more attracted to women who are both feminine and independent, a combination that's about as rare as a unicorn in rush hour traffic. Sigma females are that unicorn, effortlessly blending grace, strength, and mystery in a way that feels almost unfair to the rest of us mere mortals. So, what's the secret behind their allure? Why do men find their feminine qualities so irresistible, even if they'd never admit it out loud? Buckle up, because we're about to unravel the 10, or should we say 15, qualities that make Sigma females a league of their own. And no, it's not about makeup, heels, or how well she can bake cookies, though let's be honest, a good cookie never hurt anyone. Number 1. She makes him better without saying a word. A Sigma female doesn't need to tell a man to level up. Her presence does all the talking. She operates on a frequency of self-discipline, ambition, and quiet confidence that makes mediocrity feel like an uncomfortable pair of shoes no one wants to wear. Men find themselves instinctively inspired to step up when she's around, not because she nags or guilt trips them, but because she sets a silent standard that challenges them to do better. She doesn't ask for anything explicitly, yet her aura seems to say, "You could be so much more, and you know it." What makes this so powerful is her ability to hold herself to the same high standards. She's not a hypocrite. She's constantly striving, growing, and pushing herself, which makes her influence feel authentic rather than manipulative. There's no sermon or lecture, just her unapologetic way of existing in her best form. Men, consciously or not, recognize that being in her life requires them to operate on that same wavelength. And the kicker? They want to. This isn't about her trying to fix anyone or mold them into her ideal partner. She's not in the business of rehabilitation. If someone isn't aligned with her energy, she lets them fall away naturally. But for those who stick around, they find themselves inspired to evolve, not for her approval, but because she awakens something dormant within them. It's subtle, almost subconscious, but the effect is undeniable. In her quiet, unassuming way, she pushes him to aim higher, think deeper, and live bolder. It's not what she says or even what she does. It's the undeniable energy of someone who refuses to accept anything less than excellence in her life. Men recognize that, and without her saying a word, they rise to meet her level. Number 2, her energy is addictively calming. A Sigma female's energy is a rare kind of magic, soft yet powerful, calming yet undeniably magnetic. In a world full of noise and chaos, she's the quiet in the storm, the steady rhythm in a sea of unpredictable beats. Men are drawn to her not because she's the loudest in the room or the most outwardly expressive, but because she has mastered the art of stillness. Her presence feels like exhaling after holding your breath for far too long. What sets her apart is her ability to carry herself with quiet confidence. She doesn't need to overcompensate with forced cheerfulness or exaggerated charm. Her energy is genuine, grounded, and unshakable, creating a sense of balance wherever she goes. Men find this incredibly addictive, not in a fleeting way, but in a deep, almost spiritual sense. Being around her feels restorative, like stepping into a space where nothing needs to be rushed, forced, or overstated. This serenity isn't an act. It's the result of how she navigates life. She doesn't get entangled in petty drama, and she's not easily swayed by external pressures. Her self-assurance radiates a quiet message. You're safe here. It's not about solving anyone's problems or playing the role of a savior. It's simply her natural state of being. Men don't just want to be near her, they need to be. In her presence, they find clarity, focus, and a renewed sense of self. It's not something they can easily explain, but they know that being with her feels like pressing pause on the chaos of life. And once they've experienced her calming energy, it's nearly impossible to forget. Number 3, she's feminine, not fragile. A Sigma female redefines what it means to be feminine. She's not the damsel waiting for someone to save her, nor does she use vulnerability as a tool to manipulate. Instead, she owns her femininity with grace and power, showing that being soft doesn't mean being weak. Men are captivated by how she can be tender and strong at the same time, like silk wrapped around steel. She's the kind of woman who can handle her own challenges, but leaves enough room for a man to feel valued if he steps in. What makes her so unique is her balance. She's nurturing and empathetic, but she doesn't let those traits make her a pushover. Her boundaries are firm yet kind, and she communicates them without resorting to dramatics. Men admire this because it shows she values herself without demeaning others. Her independence doesn't come with a chip on her shoulder. Instead, it's paired with an openness that makes men feel welcome in her life, not necessary for her survival. Her quiet strength subtly rewrites the script. She doesn't belittle a man's desire to protect or provide. In fact, she respects it. But she never makes him feel like it's his duty to carry her through life. She makes him want to step up, not because she's helpless, but because she inspires him to be better. And when he does, she acknowledges it in a way that feels genuine and deeply appreciated. Men don't admire her because she needs saving. They admire her because she doesn't. Yet her ability to make space for their efforts, without depending on them, feels like a gift. It's a rare dynamic, one that leaves a man feeling honored to be part of her world rather than burdened by it. Number 4. She's emotionally elusive, yet deeply present. A Sigma female's emotional presence is a paradox that men can't help but be mesmerized by. She's elusive enough to keep them curious but deeply present when it matters most. This balance is what makes her stand out. She's not the woman constantly seeking reassurance or flooding someone with her emotions. Instead, she gives her energy sparingly and purposefully, making it feel like a privilege rather than an obligation. What makes her so intriguing is her emotional independence. She doesn't rely on anyone to regulate her feelings or validate her existence. Men notice this because it's rare. Her ability to stand on her own emotionally is both refreshing and empowering. Yet she's not cold or detached. When she engages emotionally, she's all in, offering a depth of connection that feels both rare and unforgettable. Her presence is intoxicating because it's intentional. She listens with her full attention, giving someone the sense that they're the only person in the world in that moment. It's not about saying the right things or being overly expressive. It's her ability to make him feel genuinely seen and valued without overwhelming him. This creates a dynamic that feels calm yet electrifying, a connection that's as rare as it is rewarding. Her emotional elusiveness isn't a game. It's her natural state of being selective with where she invests her energy. And this selectivity is what makes her so compelling. Men are drawn to the quiet mystery of her independence, but stay for the profound connection she offers when she decides they're worth it. It's this duality, independence paired with intentional presence, that leaves them captivated and wanting more. Number 5. She can lead without overshadowing. A Sigma female has a rare gift for leading with finesse. She doesn't demand attention or authority, nor does she bulldoze her way to the front. Instead, she leads with quiet confidence, subtly guiding situations and people without making anyone feel small in the process. Men respect and admire her because she's a natural leader who never feels the need to overshadow others to prove her worth. Her leadership style is collaborative, not competitive. Whether it's organizing a last-minute trip or navigating a tense situation, she steps up in a way that feels seamless and effortless. She doesn't impose her will, but gently steers things in the right direction, often leaving people wondering how everything fell into place so perfectly. This makes men feel like they're part of a team, not being managed or controlled. What makes her so exceptional is her respect for others' roles and contributions. She knows when to step forward and when to step back, allowing those around her to shine without compromising her own presence. Men never feel emasculated in her company because she doesn't lead to dominate, she leads to elevate. Her approach is subtle, making them feel empowered rather than diminished. This balance of strength and humility makes her an invaluable partner. She's not afraid to take the reins when needed, but she also trusts others to play their part. Men are drawn to this dynamic because it fosters mutual respect and creates a sense of partnership that feels both equal and inspiring. With her, leadership feels less like a power struggle and more like a shared adventure, making her the ultimate partner in both life and love. Number 6. Her standards are unapologetically high. A Sigma female's high standards aren't just preferences. They're a declaration of her self-worth. She knows exactly what she brings to the table, and she refuses to lower her expectations just to make someone else comfortable. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect in its purest form. Men might not admit it outright, but they find this trait undeniably attractive. It's rare to meet someone who isn't afraid to demand the best, not through ultimatums or manipulation, but simply by standing firm in her values. What makes her standards so compelling is that they aren't about material things or superficial qualities. They're rooted in depth, integrity, ambition, emotional intelligence, and respect. She doesn't expect perfection, but she does expect effort, and she won't hesitate to walk away if it's not there. Men admire this because it challenges them in a way that feels invigorating, not belittling. She inspires them to bring their A-game, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she's earned that level of respect. Her unapologetic standards also eliminate the guesswork. There's no room for mind games or hidden agendas with her. She communicates clearly what she values and expects, and in doing so, she creates an environment where mutual respect can thrive. This directness is refreshing in a world often filled with ambiguity and half-hearted connections. Men secretly love this about her because it's rare to find someone who sets the bar high and refuses to budge. It's not about intimidation, it's about inspiration. Her standards aren't there to shut people out. They're there to invite the right ones in. And for those who rise to meet her, the reward isn't just her attention. It's the privilege of being part of her extraordinary world. Number 7. She's a mystery he wants to solve. A Sigma female is like a beautifully intricate puzzle, fascinating, captivating, and just elusive enough to keep someone coming back for more. She doesn't bare her entire soul at once, nor does she lay out every detail of her life like an open book. Instead, there's always an element of mystery that surrounds her, a sense that no matter how well you think you know her, there's still so much more to uncover. What makes her so intriguing isn't pretense or a deliberate attempt to play games. It's her genuine complexity. She's a woman of many layers, each one shaped by her experiences, thoughts, and values. Men find themselves drawn to this because she's not predictable or one-dimensional. Every conversation, every shared moment, feels like peeling back a new layer of who she is. And just when you think you've figured her out, she surprises you with another dimension. Her mystery isn't about withholding, it's about depth. She doesn't rush to explain herself or overshare to fill silences. Instead, she lets her actions, passions, and insights speak for her. This quiet confidence keeps men intrigued as they realize she's not someone they can neatly categorize or fully define. What men secretly love about this is the chase, not a game of playing hard to get, but the journey of truly getting to know her. She challenges them to be curious, attentive, and patient. And for those willing to invest the time and effort, the reward is discovering a woman whose layers are as rich as they are endless. It's a connection that feels earned, not given, and that makes it all the more irresistible. Number 8. She's gracefully rebellious. A Sigma female's rebellion isn't loud or dramatic. It's a quiet refusal to fit into the boxes society tries to place her in. She doesn't need to dye her hair neon or shout her defiance from rooftops to prove a point. Instead, she lives on her own terms, with an elegance that makes her resistance feel more like an art form than an act of rebellion. It's her subtle, almost effortless way of rejecting conformity that draws men in. It's intoxicating, even if they can't fully articulate why. She challenges norms not for the sake of standing out, but because she simply refuses to be anyone other than her authentic self. She won't compromise her values to fit a trend, and she won't water down her personality to make others comfortable. Yet there's nothing abrasive or confrontational about her approach. She moves through life with grace, showing that you can be fiercely independent without being combative. This understated defiance is magnetic because it's rare. In a world where rebellion often comes packaged in clichés or over-the-top antics, her approach is refreshing. Men admire her ability to challenge the status quo without making a spectacle of herself. It's the way she says no with a calm certainty, or how she confidently walks her own path, even when it diverges from the norm. Her graceful rebellion inspires admiration and intrigue. It's not just what she does, it's how she does it. She's a reminder that true strength doesn't need to be loud, and true independence doesn't need to be brash. For men, being around her feels like stepping into a world where authenticity reigns supreme, and that quiet defiance makes her all the more unforgettable. Number 9. She's effortlessly sensual. There's a natural allure in the way a Sigma female moves through the world, a sensuality that doesn't need to be broadcast or constructed. It's not about grand gestures or overt displays, it's in the small, quiet moments that others overlook. It's the subtle curve of her smile when she's lost in thought, the sound of her laugh that makes you pause, or the effortless grace with which she tucks her hair behind her ear. These aren't the things that scream for attention, but they're the things that make men's hearts take notice. Her sensuality doesn't come from trying to be noticed. It's an intrinsic part of who she is. There's no pretense, no carefully curated persona, just an organic, understated confidence that makes her irresistible. It's the way she carries herself with poise, owning her space without needing to dominate it. It's the warmth that radiates from her when she's genuinely interested in something or someone. The way she listens so intently that you can feel the focus in her eyes. Men are captivated by this because it's different. It's not the flashiness that's easy to imitate or the kind of attention that feels forced. Her sensuality isn't a performance. It's a state of being that makes her unforgettable. It's magnetic in its simplicity, the kind of allure that grows stronger the more you get to know her. In a world that often confuses attention for attraction, she is a reminder that true sensuality is quiet, confident, and entirely her own. Number 10. She respects his need for freedom. A Sigma female understands that love isn't about clinging or controlling. It's about nurturing and trusting. She respects his need for freedom because she knows the value of her own independence and realizes that a relationship based on mutual respect is what sustains it. Unlike some who may struggle to maintain their composure when left alone, she finds peace in solitude and knows that space is essential for both personal growth and maintaining a healthy connection. She doesn't see her partner's need for personal time as a slight against her or a sign of disinterest. Instead, she embraces it as an opportunity for both of them to grow as individuals. Her approach is refreshing in a world where codependency can be mistaken for love. She trusts him and respects his autonomy, which in turn creates a bond that feels more like a partnership than a restriction. It's in her ability to let go without resentment that makes her different. When he steps away to chase his passions, clear his mind, or simply be on his own, she isn't threatened, she's supportive. This allows him to come back refreshed, with new stories, new energy, and a deeper appreciation for the time they share. She understands that love thrives best when it's given freely and without strings attached. Her ability to step back and give him the space he needs creates a dynamic where he feels seen, valued, and most importantly, free to be his true self. Men secretly admire this quality, knowing that they don't have to fit into a mold or sacrifice their sense of identity to be with her. It's a balance that's rare and deeply appealing, a subtle reminder that the strongest connections are built on trust, not on the pressure of possession. In the end, the qualities that make Sigma females so irresistible aren't flashy or loud. They're the traits that quietly command respect and admiration. Their blend of independence, emotional depth, and effortless elegance creates an energy that men are drawn to, not because it's easy to capture or replicate, but because it's genuine and rare. They don't play by the rules of the typical world. Instead, they set their own standard, one that leaves a lasting impression on anyone who crosses their path. Men secretly long for the presence of a Sigma female because she embodies the perfect balance of strength and grace, freedom and connection. With her, love isn't a performance. It's a shared journey that feels like a partnership in its truest sense. She respects his space, leads without overpowering, and brings a sense of calm that makes life's chaos feel manageable. There's an air of mystery about her, not because she's trying to be elusive, but because she's complex and captivating, layered in ways that keep men coming back to discover more. What truly sets her apart is her ability to be herself, unapologetically and without compromise. She understands that true attraction is built on authenticity, and that being loved for who she truly is, rather than for what others want her to be, is worth more than any external validation. In a world full of noise, she's the quiet force that makes hearts pause and souls feel seen. She's not just a breath of fresh air. She's the reason someone believes in the power of real, unfiltered connection. And that, above all else, is what makes her so extraordinary. If you found these insights into what makes Sigma females so captivating, compelling, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing to the channel, you'll stay tuned for more deep dives into the qualities that set extraordinary individuals apart and the traits that men and women alike are drawn to. Join our community and be part of conversations that are real, refreshing, and filled with the kind of honesty that makes you think. Subscribe now and make sure you don't miss out on any of the content that will keep you intrigued, inspired, and always one step ahead.